All right, so this little lot comes to us from Mike Rickard, and he's from Charlotte, North Carolina, and what is that? Kind of an interesting thing. Mike and I talk a little bit on email. Anyway, he sent this in, and he had sent me some pictures of this a while ago. What this is, it's a little indicator attachment. And it's kind of interesting. It fits on a real kind of old school Brown and Sharpe indicator that has actually a smaller diameter stem than, kind of what's standard these days. I think it's 5/16 in this case. But it's got it's kind of a right angle attachment so that you can indicate, well, I got nothing to, let's see. Can I reach down it? No, that won't work. I should have got something. Oh, here we go. Little poker here. The indicator stylus would push that plunger out there, and so that you can indicate at 90 degrees using this tip right here. So it's kind of neat. So it converts a regular plunger style to one that you can use it sideways there. So that's kind of cool. And it shows up in the old Brown and Sharpe catalog. It's a 734, Brown and Sharpe 734. This little guy, this little gem here, he sent this, and he said this was his grandfather, and this is a watchmaker's hammer. His grandfather was a jeweler. This is kind of a neat hammer, actually. I kind of like it, or I like it a lot, and partly because of the patina on the handle here. It looks like a finger was kind of setting in this spot. The handle's got a little bend to it, because of somebody holding it. And then this hammer's seen a fair amount of use, right? If you run your fingers like this, it's just slightly mushroomed, okay? So, this thing got used a bit. And, to me, there's a whole story here, right? And, this is rounded off in a kind of a funny way, and so the tool kind of tells a little story, and it's just a pleasing shape too. It's just kind of neat, and European style looking. That's kind of what it appears to be to me. Anyway, I just love it. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you sending that in, and I'm sure this is one of your grandfather's favorite little hammers. Well, now it's one of my favorite little hammers, so thank you very much. I do appreciate that. All right, so this next pair here come to us all the way from the UK, Tadley to be exact, and this is from Michel Tomasius, and he and I have talked on email a few times, and he wanted to send something in, and sending something from overseas, it takes a little bit of effort, and I really appreciate it, and it's certainly not cheap to mail things. But anyway, I love the two items; they're great. This hammer is pretty spectacular. I love it. It's reinforced and inletted into the wood here. It's pretty cool. Not sure of the purpose of this particular one. It's got a maker's mark on it here. It's a B and B or BB on there. So I think it looks like a commercial stamp to me. Pretty sure this is an original handle, which is a testament to how well it's set in there, right? So it's pretty good that way. Oh, actually, it's got some markings there too. It's CPO 1962 or something like that. Yeah, CPO 1962. Anyway, neat looking hammer. Small little head. It's like a tack hammer or something like that. The way this is, some of these cross peens like this, you use for starting brads in cabinet making and things like that. But this one, the way it's beveled at the tip, and that it's curved in this direction leads me to believe that's some kind of used for chipping or splitting or something like that. I don't know. Not sure. Anybody knows, that's kind of a cool subject to talk about there. And then this is like the original Leatherman here, and it's got a hatchet, it's got a hammer, it's got a pliers, it's got some nippers, multiple nippers here. It's got the little crosscut ones there on two sides. Okay, screwdriver, and then it's got a brad puller right there, and then this is great here. Look at that, and these are really nice checkering here. These are forged. Okay, they're nicely forged. So now I don't know if those were hand cut or part of the forging die. I don't know if they can do that into the forging die. I'm not sure. That's a good question. I don't really know there if they can do that into a forging die, or if it was cut after the fact. But it's kind of original Leatherman. Now it doesn't have a lot of mass, so it'd only be good for tiny little brads and stuff. But boy, if you were on a desert island, you'd be glad to have that little monkey there, wouldn't you? And you can split coconuts with it or something else there, right? Anyway, Michelle, thank you very much. That's great. You went to some effort to send these things, and I really appreciate it. And they have an honored place in my shop now, so thank you, sir. Okay, these next two come to us from a longtime viewer and emailer of the show, Bruce Grattan, Senior, actually, and he runs Grattan's Towing out in Kachok, New York. So if you're in Kachok and you need a tow, look up Grattan's Towing, and maybe they can help you out. Anyway, Bruce, he emails me pretty regularly with little newsy items, and anyway, he sent me a picture of a garage sale he went to, and a guy had a whole bunch of hammers laying out there, and Bruce very cleverly put tape on all the handles and numbered them and said, he goes, which ones do you like, right? And I said, oh, well, gee, number one looks pretty friendly. What do they want for it? Anyway, Bruce was nice enough to send it in, and thanks, Bruce. That's a great that's a great hammer, and he put that in there with it, which is a Plum Victory. Looks like new old stock. I don't think this thing was ever mounted to a handle, from what I can see. The edges are still like sharp, and it's like it has the original black oxide coating on it there. So we'll get a handle on that at some point. Now, this one's kind of neat. I don't think the handle's original. Just looking at how it's mounted, and there's scratch marks on top like somebody sawed it off. But what I thought was interesting on this, and some of the gun enthusiasts might be onto this one, is marked JC Higgins. And I believe they made 22 rifles and shotguns and some things like that, and probably lots of different metal goods. And it's got a little logo on the other side. So I don't know if that's a JC Higgins logo or what, but it's kind of interesting. So I think this is might be another like Slater's hammer or something like that, like a roofing hammer, or a stone chipper's hammer, somebody that stonemason's hammer, but I'm not positive. It looks like it's seen some use. It's not for driving nails or anything like that. It's for chipping something in slate or stone or something, just looking at the weight and all that. So anyway, JC Higgins, I think it's a Slater's or a stonemason's hammer, and a Plum Victory. So maybe the Victory means around World War II, somewhere around there, so don't know. One of you clever web miners out there can source that out, but it's pretty cool. Anyway, Bruce, thank you very much. Always a pleasure talking with you on email, and thanks for the goodies. And like I said, if you're ever in Kachok, New York, and need a tow, call Bruce's joint, okay? All right, thanks. All right, so these strange looking items here come to us from Jeremy Duboff, and he's out of Sunrise, Florida. And Jeremy, this is actually his invention here, which is pretty cool. And what it is it's a vacuum attachment for T-slots. Okay, so these plop down into the T-slots and they connect to a vacuum hose, and you can run them down the T-slot, and it kind of pushes the stuff and then vacuums it up at the same time, right? So that's a pretty clever idea, and these are pretty cool. And they probably look funny on video because he said this is glow-in-the-dark material in case you want to vacuum your T-slots when it's dark in the shop. And he wanted to send a couple to me, and I said, you know, I got a weird vacuum. Mine has a kind of a big size, so what does Jeremy do? He turns on his 3D printer and he whips out a larger model for my vacuum, which we're going to go try here in a sec and see how it works, and give it a go. So Jeremy, thank you very much. Those are very cool. And guys, he sells these. They're on eBay, so you can search T-slot vacuum on eBay, and they should pop up. And I'm going to put his email address here on the screen for you. If you want to get in direct contact with Jeremy and get one of these for yourself, get in contact with him, and he can help you out. And these other guys, and I guess he makes these too. Let's move those over. These are parallel keepers, I guess, and so they snick onto the side of the vise, and like this. It's like I never used a mill before, right? They snick onto the sides of the vise, and you can push them back, and it'll hold your parallels in place. I guess maybe you only need one on each side. I haven't tried these yet, but it looks like a good idea. So there's some, you know. If you have one of these little 3D printers, you'll find uses for them, and you can make all kinds of nifty little parts like this and try out different ideas. One that I've seen is the little quill lock lever on the Bridgeport that always likes to droop down. Some guys have made some cool attachments for those by doing 3D printing. But Jeremy's done one step farther here and made some vacuum attachments. So let's cruise over to the mill and let's vacuum out my T-slots and see how this works. All right, so this side's got a few chips in it. Let's poke a few more in there. I actually had cleaned the mill the other day. We got some that are kind of packed in there, so we'll try those. But the idea is this kind of jumps in between here, and then you can just go along, pull up on it, and there's a little space underneath, okay, that gives you a path to vacuum them up. So let's try it. Now the first thing I noticed was this is a little bit loose here, okay, so Jeremy, you might want to change your model a little bit so that that shrinks that down a little bit, okay, but we're just going to hold it on there because I think it'll work fine, just holding it on there like that. So let's give it a go. Feels good. Oh yeah. That works great. So the velocity through the... Gee, I could turn that off and talk, right? Amazing how that works. The velocity through that small opening is pretty high, so that's great. It pulled that stuff right out of there. Now, it wasn't wedged in there or anything, so but it was definitely cleaned out really nice there. So I would call that a successful invention there. So that's pretty cool. So Jeremy, good job on that, and thank you very much for giving me one to play around with. And if you guys want to get one, get with Jeremy, and or go on eBay and look up T-slot vacuum. So all right, thanks guys. Well, while we're at it, we might as well try these little guys out here too. So I think that's the idea. Let's put. So just because I'm a total nerdic. I'd probably want 4 of these myself. You know, two on each parallel. Yeah, I think I want 2 on each parallel there, but those look good, and you can run them down so they're near the bottom. Now they're going to pick up chips probably because they're magnets, but they're kind of around the corner, so they're probably fine. So yeah, it looks like it catches them pretty nice. And you just push them back. Okay, good. I like them. Those are nice too. So I wonder if those would work for. Let's get one of Stan's squares, and maybe we can use that to kind of help hold one of Stan's squares in place. Here, let me get one of those. Hold on. So for those of you haven't seen these are these Bar Z squares that Stan makes. We'll put a little link up for Stan's deal there. Okay, and let's. You know, the way these work is they drop over like that, and you can put them a bunch of different ways. So maybe these help. Yeah. Oop. Okay. Maybe not. That could work. Kind of helps hold it a little bit, but not too exciting. Let's try that way. All right, that's better. It's not holding it tight, but it just kind of holds it in place. All right, so you know, there might be some other uses for these little guys, and if you haven't seen these, go check out Stan's deal because those are really handy too. They got a little fence on them so you can hook them on different surfaces. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching.